Hi, Chris. I wanted to leave you some feedback on your thesis statement for Essay 1. First off, your formatting looks pretty good, but be certain in your header up here that you include your last name along with the page number. Um, so you want to write about a hanging, and you're starting to set up your summary here. Make sure that the first time that you introduce an author and title into the text, you include the author's full name along with the essay title. So here you have it both italicized and in quotation marks. You only need to include short story titles in quotation marks, not italics as well. But you want to make sure that you get the author's name in here as well. So make sure you say something to the effect of, in George Orwell's essay, A Hanging, yet to dot to dot. So I think that you've got some general ideas presented here in your summary, and I think that they're good moments from the text. But what's really missing are the plot points, and the author's main idea. So when you start off by saying the prison guard talks from his perspective, I think before you say that, the reader needs some kind of indication of where the story took place and who's telling the story, right? So before you start talking about the guard's perspective, I would start off by saying the story takes place in Burma, right? It's told by a prison guard, or it's told from the point of view of a prison guard who witnesses a man being hung, right? So on and so forth. So you're just kind of missing the plot details in here that the reader needs. Second, this thesis has a claim and a reason, but it's drifting away from the purpose of critical analysis. So remember what I said in class. You don't want to turn this paper into a discussion about arguing for or against capital punishment. Now, that idea can be woven into the paper, but remember that your main point is to examine how effective Orwell's argument is. And you're going to do that by examining things like his persuasive strategies, his use of the appeals, any kind of literary devices that he uses, such as imagery, description, the use of first-person perspective, for example, right? So you want to focus on what the writer does, not necessarily make this into a pro-con discussion of capital punishment. So I recommend looking at the week 3 announcement. I posed a series of questions that you could potentially use and turn into thesis statements for this essay. Second, you've got a bunch of direct quotations from the text, but note that these are pieces of evidence. They are not main ideas or key points, right? So key points are, they're kind of like mini claims. They're mini claims that are your own writing, your own wording, that help the reader understand how you are going to argue your thesis. They're not evidence or direct quotations. Evidence or direct quotations will be what you will use to illustrate the key idea for the reader, right? So what I'm saying is, what you have here in your second paragraph, I wouldn't consider these key ideas. These are pieces of evidence from Orwell's text. So make sure that you think about that difference. So I think that this essay I think it has potential, but at this point, your thesis needs a little bit of tweaking. Your summary needs some clarifying. And once you figure out exactly what it is that you're arguing, I want you to rethink what your key ideas are, right? Instead of just thinking about the evidence there. You need both, essentially, and they're two different things. All right, contact me if you have any questions about this, and I'd be happy to give you more feedback if needed.